Once upon a time, nestled in a cozy little town, lived a curious girl named Lily and her adventurous brother Tom. Their house had a big, rambling backyard, and in the farthest corner stood a magnificent old oak tree. Perched high in its branches was a treehouse, built by their grandpa many, many years ago. It had a crooked roof, a rope ladder, and a small, dusty window that looked like a winking eye. One sunny afternoon, while playing hide-and-seek, Tom called out, "Lily, let's explore the old treehouse. I bet there's treasure inside." Lily's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Okay, but Grandpa said it has a secret," she whispered, a little shiver of anticipation running down her spine. "A bone-chilling secret?" Tom just laughed. "A bone-chilling secret? What could that be? A ghost that tells silly jokes?" They raced to the oak tree. The rope ladder looked old but strong. Tom went first, his sneakers thumping on each wooden rung. Lily followed close behind, her heart thumping just as loudly. When they finally scrambled inside, they were greeted by the smell of old wood and dry leaves. Sunlight streamed through the dusty window, illuminating tiny particles of dust dancing in the air. The treehouse was small, but cozy. There was a little wooden table, 2 small chairs, and a shelf filled with old forgotten toys. A faded teddy bear with one button eye sat in the corner, and a stack of colorful comic books lay on the table. "See? No bone-chilling secret here?" Tom said, puffing out his chest. "Just old stuff." But Lily wasn't so sure. She noticed something strange. Carved into the wooden floor, right under the dusty window, was a small, peculiar shape. It looked like a star with a circle around it, and in the very center of the star was a tiny keyhole. "Tom, look!" Lily pointed. "What's this?" Tom knelt beside her, his curiosity piqued. "A keyhole? In the floor? That's weird." He tried to peek inside, but it was too dark. "We need a key." They searched the entire treehouse. They looked under the chairs, inside the teddy bear's torn seam, and between the pages of every single comic book. But there was no key. Feeling a little disappointed, they sat down at the small table. Tom idly picked up a comic book, its cover showing a superhero with a bright red cape. As he flipped through the pages, a small flat object slipped out and clattered onto the floor. It was a key, but it wasn't an ordinary key. It was made of smooth, polished wood and was shaped exactly like a tiny oak leaf. "The key!" Lily gasped. "It was hiding in the comic book all along." With trembling hands, Tom picked up the wooden key. It fit perfectly into the keyhole on the floor. He turned it, and with a soft click, a small section of the floor popped open like a little door. It was a hidden compartment. They peered inside. It wasn't treasure, not gold or jewels. Instead, nestled on a bed of soft red velvet, was a small leather-bound book. On its cover, in faded gold letters, were the words, "The Book of Whispers." "This must be the secret," Lily whispered, her voice filled with awe. Tom carefully lifted the book out. It felt ancient and important. He opened it to the first page. The writing was a beautiful, looping script, but it was faint, almost like a ghost of what it once was. "I can't read it," Tom said, squinting. "The words are too faded." Lily leaned closer. Maybe we don't have to read it," she said softly. "The cover says, 'The Book of Whispers.' What if we're supposed to listen?" She held the open book close to her ear. At first, there was only silence. Then, a faint sound began, like the rustling of leaves in a gentle breeze. A soft, warm voice started to whisper, telling a story. It wasn't a scary story. It was the story of the old oak tree. The voice told them how the tree had started as a tiny acorn, planted by a squirrel long, long ago. It described the seasons it had seen, the bright green leaves of spring, the shady canopy of summer, the brilliant colors of autumn, and the quiet sleep of winter. It spoke of the birds that built nests in its branches, and the families who had picnics under its shade. The whispering voice was their grandpa's. It was a recording he had made for them, a magical message hidden in the heart of the treehouse. He had used a special ink that faded over time, leaving only his voice behind. Then, the voice spoke of the bone-chilling secret. Lily and Tom held their breath. The secret, Grandpa's voice whispered warmly, is that every winter, when the air gets very cold, the tree gets bone-chilled. And when it does, it tells its best stories to anyone who is quiet enough to listen. Its bones, its branches, creak and groan, but they aren't scary sounds. They're the tree's way of talking, sharing memories of all the laughter and joy it has witnessed. Lily and Tom looked at each other and smiled. The bone-chilling secret wasn't frightening at all. It was a beautiful, magical secret about listening to nature. The tree wasn't haunted, it was filled with happy memories. They spent the rest of the afternoon taking turns listening to the Book of Whispers. Grandpa's voice told them jokes, riddles, and wonderful tales about their own parents when they were little. It was like having Grandpa right there with them, sharing his love and his stories. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, they carefully placed the book back in its secret compartment and closed the little door. They climbed down the rope ladder, their hearts full. The old treehouse was no longer just a dusty, forgotten place. It was a treasure chest of memories, a place where they could always come to listen to the whispers of the past. That night, as Lily and Tom were tucked into their beds, a gentle wind rustled the leaves of the old oak tree outside their window. They could hear its branches creaking softly in the cool night air. But they weren't scared. They snuggled deeper under their blankets, smiled, and listened closely, hoping to hear another one of the tree's wonderful stories. And as they drifted off to sleep, they knew that the best secrets are the ones filled not with fright, but with love and magic. Good night, and sleep tight.